Hi, I'm Ginger with Edge TV, and we are here at the D-Scoop Orlando Edge conference, and I'm with Silas Amos. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hello, I'm Silas Amos. I'm a designer and design strategist based in London. Been doing it about 25 years. FMCG and packaging is the mainstay of what I do.
Fantastic. You had a session this morning, which I hear was well attended, and did they
Yep.
seem exciting? Excited?
Yeah, I think everyone's just interested in the topic, aren't they? So it's not hard to get people to react because everyone's into it, which is good.
It's talking about new rules, new toys, new games in the industry.
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights that you spoke about? Abbreviated, condensed version?
I think it's quite simple, really. I've been doing this for 25 years, probably longer. I'm 52, and I'm very excited to think that the next 15 or so years of my life are going to be very different from the previous because of the agility, real time, personalization, everything's being unique. It just gives me the opportunity to do things quicker and with more creative content than I would have been able to 5 years ago. So that's what I'm really meaning by the fact there's a new game and the new toy is digital print.
Great, and you're right. I mean, when my dad was a printer, so he used to say everybody wants things yesterday. Now everybody wants things,
I was just joking
now.
to a guy about he's a print supplier and saying he should set up a company called 11th Hour. Because basically that's when every designer needs it, isn't it? On the 11th hour.
You are so right. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. So when we are talking to printers and partners, that's basically who our audience is, and brands and creatives like yourself. But what should printers be talking about now when they're working with designers and brand owners to help them understand the power of print today?
I think it's a case of from to, really. It's not that some of the things that people are familiar with have all gone and we now need to swap suddenly at the wave of a magic wand to something else. This is just a complementary thing where you can be more tactical, more creative, more exploratory in what you're doing. You can dare to fail because you can print such small runs that you can test things out. So I would suggest that, why would you be researching in the old weird ways that have nothing to do with retail anymore, when you can just actually put things in the store and try them out on a small level. So it's just agility at the end of the day. And I think when you're talking to people, it's just trying to find the people that will make the creative leap and try something out, knowing that it's relatively risk-free and give it a go.
True. So you're a designer. You said you've been working with the printer a long time. What's the way that you guys collaborate? Because you've been working with them so long. What does that look like? True collaboration between designer and printer?
I think it's it's as old as human nature, isn't it? What you're really looking for is someone you can trust fundamentally, that has got your back. And if you then take that up a level, you're looking for someone that's going to give you things and expose you to stuff you haven't seen before and push you. So for me, I think that the cliche almost of people thinking about digital print is just like a home printer. Load paper, press button, print comes out. And of course, this medium has got as much skill involved in it as the old-fashioned ways of printing. It's just a different skill set. Sure. But you still need to know about colour, paper, temperature, finishings, and all of those things, and push things. But so, in a way, nothing's changed. It's still the same things you were ever looking for in a good print relationship. It's just that the technology is that bit more adaptive and can throw up some new opportunities, but it's still craft.
So you might come with an idea, and your printer might say, "Great idea. Have you thought about this?" Does that happen sometimes? Okay.
Exactly. But also, I think it used to be that the trip to the printer was a kind of like a slightly painful exercise wherein you were worried about the mistake.
Yeah.
You found the mistake, and then everyone had a cup of tea for 4 hours while we checked the plates.
Yeah.
And so it was always a pressure point, a trip to the printer.
Yeah.
And when you were to say, "Can we, boost the red?" You'd see the rolling of eyes if the printer was of that nature, because they knew that it was costing them money. And yes, you could play to your heart's content, but it was costing someone somewhere a lot of money to do that. So it wasn't really a very creative experience. With digital, you can be there on press, changing things in real time, tweaking, being much more hands-on. So actually, I think a very new generation of designers, the ones that haven't had that old experience, need to be encouraged to get to the printers and play a bit more.
Yeah.
Because you can see, you can make such changes in response to how the paper's taking the ink and other things. So as long as you factor in a bit of playtime, you know,
Yeah.
a couple of hours of that into the day, it will pay rewards. So it's a much. I guess it used to be you were asking for permission to change things unless it's absolutely necessary and they had to. But either way, it was painful. Now it's much more, hey, try it.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not? Yeah, we'll
fluid.
give that a go.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, you can just be proofing for inks and just like literally, can I have it just a little bit more yellow, a little bit more,
Absolutely, yeah.
and you're just seeing those steps in a way that you never could in the old days.
Yeah.
The old days.
The old days.
Like the 90s.
Well, even sometimes the old days, 5 years ago,
Yeah,
depending
exactly.
on what kind of equipment you had.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that I've been following you, and you talk about all brands having an inner life.
Yep.
Can you tell us what that means in your terms, and maybe why a printer should need to know that, or a partner?
Well, it sounds slightly pretentious, and I'll try not to make it too pretentious. But
Be
for
pretentious.
me, I, as a design strategist and designer, when I come to any client, I imagine it like a vessel. Like on the inside of any brand, they're all different, and the inside has a shape, and that shape's made of the ethos of the founder, or their advertising legacy, or their product truth, or something. There's something in there, and all I have to do is understand what that thing is that makes them different, and then I'm translating it to the outside of the vessel so that you can tap it.
That's right, because you're talking about packaging.
So some vessels are tall and elegant, and some are short and dumpy, and some are complex, and some are simple. Pays you money, it takes your choice. But all I'm trying to do is find the appropriate outer for what the inner life of a brand is. And I think if you're talking about translating that to a printer's world, it's things as simple as, well, what's the right paper? What paper most reflects the spirit of the brand you're communicating? Because, you know, tactility is our most sort of unnoticed but persuasive sense. We all know that a thicker business card says something about you more than a thin, flimsy one. You know, it's the first touch we get. It's our first sense as babies is what things are like under our fingertips. So I think, therefore, in simple terms, how a paper takes colour, how it feels to your fingertips, how it sort of weathers life, etc. These are all versions of that same thing about what's on the inside and how does it relate to something being glossy or matte or craft or bright or monochrome, etc.
Yeah, so a luxury brand, if that's their inner life, would have a different feel on their outer life, I guess, is what you said.
Yeah, but even within luxury brands, it's not all metallic and glossy.
No,
some might be quite the opposite, and artisanal and
that's true.
You know, all of that.
Craft.
So, yeah.
You know. All right. And so, have you been to D-Scoop before?
I have not been to D-Scoop
That's
before.
what I
I've
thought.
been to Drooper, and Interpack, and one or two others, but this is my first D-Scoop.
Well, that's a great question then. So I know you've just been here a little while, but what do you sense that's a little bit different from some of the other conferences you might have attended? Do you have a sense of that yet?
Yeah, it's a community. All of the other conferences are basically lots of free agents walking around, sucking up the kind of what's available and what they need to be investing in. I get an impression here that a lot of people know a lot of people, and that's not just in a kind of, isn't it lovely way, it's in a that's useful, because I think for us all to move forward as an industry, we have to connect. We have to start working as collaborators and figuring out how the left hand can wash the right hand. So actually, you're going to find more progress coming out of a smaller gathering of people that are like-minded, that are talking like this, than a load of random disconnected people walking around some Uber trade fair in Germany.
Yeah, so you're talking about the power of community, I guess.
Yeah.
And
the power to move forward by connecting dots. Everyone in here has got a specialism, but put them all together and imagine what you could do.
Yeah, good point. That's a great point. Anything I didn't touch on that you think you would like to share with printers today, just from your perspective?
No, not really. I mean, if there's one thing that's in my head, it's that the future always sounds like some scary, different, new thing. My dad gave me some old printers books from 1900, which was probably the start of lithography, and they're like printers annuals. And the first one talks about, is this the death of print? And
in the 50s?
No, 1900s.
Oh, 1900s.
It's like we're all out of a job, aren't we? And of course not. And it's the same conversation happening today, isn't it? And I just think the future's just a continuation of the past, and it really just comes down to the same basic core things of like integrity, going the extra mile, trust, and then the technology will take care of itself, and the rest is just adapting to the change. That's my personal view.
Like it. So you heard it here first, the future.
The future's the past.
The future's the past. Okay, so nobody has to worry about it.
Exactly.
Silas, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.